All right, we're going to talk about Unit 4, Lesson 4, Variables Make. I do not plan to demonstrate this for you guys because this is where you're going to show me that you've understood what we have done in the previous lessons. We are going to be skipping Lesson 4. All right. In Conditionals Explorer Lesson 5, again, this is an assessment, a check for understanding, so I'm not going to give you the answers to that. I believe code.org actually will, but this is good for you, good practice for you to make sure that you understand. All right, so Conditionals Investigate Lesson 6. Let's go through this. So I'm going to click on the first one, if statements. So it looks like I might have actually done some of this work before. Let's make sure. I'll just start over from the initial. Start over. So if you ever are in a spot where you are completely lost, you can always start over or go back to a previous version just by clicking on version history, and it'll show you those things. So this way I know that I am starting with the same code that you guys are starting with. All right, so let's look at this item where it says do this. Play the game at least once, then with a partner, choose one of 3 code sections below, lines 1 through 13, lines 16 through 30, or lines 33 through 53. Read the code in your section carefully, making sure you understand how each line works. Discuss, well, you're just here with me in this video right now, so you'll have to think about these things yourself. So explain what your section does. You might want to grab your rubber duck and explain what your section does to the rubber duck. Call out any lines of code that you thought were interesting or confusing. Same thing, talk to your rubber duck. Ask good questions about how their section works. So you can't really ask the rubber duck that. So you might have to just kind of go and evaluate those things, or talk to a classmate and see what sections they did or what section they did, and have a discussion with them. So right now the game keeps going when the player has 0 lives. Fix this problem. See, we're going to do some debugging. We're going to figure some things out. So first thing we're going to do is just play the game, right? So I'm going to hit the run button, play the game. So if I go over the lemon, right, we can see it adds up a score. Oops, what was that? Was that the lime? Yeah, okay. And now it still lets me play even after I've lost, essentially. So cool. All right. Now we know kind of what it does. Our debug console, I'm going to try to grab that guy right there. There's our debug console. We might have to do some console.logs to find out what's going on. All right. So here we have the variable score. On event, score equals 0, lives equals 3. So that's when we click the play button. All right. And in fact, we can probably, instead of being super fast, we could use the debug arrow to help us see kind of what's going on. So let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to hit the play button, or run button. So here's our events, right? It's showing us what things have been read. So when I hit the play button, we can see it's setting the values of score and lives. And we can see that that set property on line 10 is setting this value here. So I just did one of the events. So on event, lemon mouse over. So what does mouse over mean? It means when we mouse over this particular item, do the following items. So do the following things. So on event, lemon mouse over. Play sound. It's going to play the sound. It's going to increase the score. It's going to set the property of the X value of the lemon. That would be the horizontal value versus the Y value of the lemon. So it's going to do both. It's going to set the lemon, it's going to set the lime, and put them in a random spot. So this random number function basically says, hey, anywhere between 50 and 220, put that lemon. And typically what happens is, typically what happens is this is your 0, 0 coordinate. And anything that is anything that's bigger basically goes this way, right? So this is going to be 0. This will probably be like 220, whatever that value is over here, right? So it would be 0. Actually, XY, 220, 0, right? And then down here would be horizontal X, so 0, maybe it's like 320, okay? So 50 would be like, in the X value would be here somewhere in here, right? It'd be a little bit off the border. Same thing down here, right? This is going to be the maximum value of X or Y, or X and Y, I should say. The maximum value of X and Y. And typically what happens, and unfortunately I'm going to sort of semi-scroll over this carefully. Your XY coordinate is typically also at the upper left and top. So I don't know if I don't know if these lemons are getting the XY coordinate set from like the center. Probably not. That's not how things typically work. But from that top left coordinate. Okay. So every time I scroll over the lemon, it gives me, here's our on event, right? It says score +1. So we're adding to the score. We're resetting the property of the lemon and the lime. And then we're setting the screen to this value. Okay, so when we mouse over the lime, let's do that. So here's our lime. So lives -1, set the property of the value of the different items, the lemon and the lime, the X and the Y coordinates. And then we change the value of our display. All right. Right now it says if lives is less than 0, let's see, or end the game when you run out of lives. Okay. So why do you guys think the lives less than 0 is not working? All right. Let's purposefully lose this game so we can see what's going on. All right. All right, so it still says -1 and then it goes to the screen. So what we really want is if the lives are less than or equal to 0. Try that. And I never remember which way this is supposed to go. If I've messed up, I've messed up. We'll see it. Reset. Run. I'll make this a little faster for next time. All right, hit the play button. Okay. One more time. Okay, looks like that works. So this conditional statement here is basically checking the value of lives. When it said less than 0, it had to go to -1 before it could go back to that original screen. Now it says less than or equal to 0. And the reason why we might do something like this, less than 0, is because let's say we run over that lime twice and it subtracts 2 lives and we go to -1. We don't want to have it say if lives are equal to 0, so equal, because that would skip over that condition. It might not catch that condition. So less than or equal to 0 will catch both 0 and -1 and any other negative numbers following. We could change this to if lives is less than 1. that would also work. So there's a number of different ways that we can write this sort of conditional statement. All right, I hope that helps. Let's go ahead and hit finish and continue.